Hello everybody, a little bit earlier, caught you out I expect. We're just going to go through a few little preliminaries. There's 14 of you at the moment. We've just been playing around with some mic settings. I've been in conversation with a guy who's been giving me some hints and tips when it comes to the mic. So I just want to see yet again, says our current bit rate is lower than what it is. I don't know what's happening, to be honest. So can you let me know whether you can hear me okay? Is the levels okay? I'm not shouting, it's just nice and easy. So can you all hear me? I think we've got about a 5 or 6 second delay. George, hello. So can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Can you hear us all okay? Louise, do you want to say something as well? Because Louise is live as well at the same time.
I'm probably mic'd up this week.
You're probably mic'd up? Say again.
I'm probably mic'd up this week.
So can you all hear Louise as well? Do we get a bit of an echo at all? Or are we all nice and hunky-dory? Just let me... Any echoes today? Forteventura again. I can hear you okay, Pearl. It might be pretty.
I go on holiday when I see that.
But it's pretty nice outside. It's nice and warm though, isn't it?
It's not Forteventura out there. There was it. We're in the South Wales valleys. Not quite the same as those gorgeous yellow beaches.
No, you're right there. So it sounds pretty good. No echo, great level. No echo, nice and clear. Hearing well. No echo, no echo. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay. So yeah, we thought we'd come on a little bit beforehand, just have a little bit of a chat, so we can start bang on 3:30 for the question and answer. Although, don't you just hate Janet? Beach was great this morning.
Oh no! Janet.
I mean not hate Janet, but oh. Yeah, we thought we'd come on just a little bit beforehand to make sure everything is fine and all the levels are looking good. Because we've been playing around with mic settings and that sort of thing. And just one quick thing, we sent out, didn't we send out? No, we asked you for your advice when it comes to the days for this question and answer, because due to Mary leaving and Louise coming on board, Wednesday afternoons are not going to be good afternoons for the question and answer, unfortunately. So we asked everybody what day is the best and what time was the best. And we had how many replies did we have, Louise? We had quite a few replies, didn't we?
Yes. I can't remember how many. Was it 160 something?
160 something.
I would have got the actual number for you if I thought ahead. But did you happen to bring my charger? Oh, there it is.
It is plugged in.
Oh, so it is. One step ahead of
you,
me,
not turned on at all. There we go. Jealous, Mr. B? Yes, Jill, I am a little bit on the jealous side because I would love to be sort of running along the beach. Anyway, so we're going to be doing our question and answers on a Monday, isn't it? It's Monday at 4 p.m. Yes. Mm-hmm. So Monday, 4 p.m. is going to be our time when we're going to be doing these question and answers starting 3rd of August, I think it is, isn't it? 3rd of August?
Yes,
Monday the 3rd of August. The days and dates and times are changing, so we're going to have it on Mondays at 4 p.m. And I think I've got the thumbnails showing what time that's going to be in New York and Melbourne and Hong Kong and all those sort of places. So Monday's great, good. We asked, I think the majority of people said it was, not the majority, it was a pretty even, wasn't it, Louise? It was pretty even between the two. It was
a bit of an even split, but I think the time that we've gone with is the most popular overall.
Yeah, the time.
Day and time.
Day and time, absolutely, yeah. So we've gone through it all. Louise loves to crunch these numbers, don't you? You love to get we love to get a spreadsheet. It takes you going to get onto these spreadsheets. But once you do, you really get your teeth in.
I like to drill down into it. So Monday's going to be your new favourite day of the week now then, is it?
Yes. My favourite day, every day is my favourite day of the week, waking up with you.
You smooth talker.
All right. How was the lady with the stuck ring? Oh, we don't know.
Janet.
That was Janet. Janet, let us know how your ring got on that was stuck on the finger, pray tell. Let us know how you managed to, did you manage to get it off with that sort of string technique, or did you put it up in the
I think we advised against the strings.
Yeah, we did. Or put your hand up in the air when you're lying down. Yes. Okay. I'm applying. Okay, so I'm not going to answer any questions just yet. Don't look at the questions. Don't look at the questions, Andrew. Don't look. we will come to them one by one. Yeah, it's a good start of the week. From Derbyshire, Mondays 4 p.m, a great time. It's really awkward to try and fit in with everybody because everybody watches around the world and they all come at different times and so forth. So we do have to sort of cater for the majority and also for your and my time as well. Because 4 p.m. means we're going to be staying here a little bit late after work, just to get everybody.
I've got to stay late.
Yes, you've got to stay late. You'll be paid. So the idea is we're going to come on sort of like 10, 15 minutes beforehand. So come 4 o'clock or come now 3:30. That is when the question and answer is going to start. So people who are expecting the question and answers to start at 3:30, in this case, that is when they'll start, and there'll be a little bit of chatting beforehand, a bit of cheeky banter going on beforehand. That's basically about it. All I had to say, I think, Louise. Anything you want to say? How was your week or anything? How was anything?
No.
Can't wait for your.
Uneventful.
You can't wait for you to finish your job now, can you?
I wouldn't say that.
No, sorry, I didn't. No.
It's I've done it for 12 years. So it's a completely different industry, so I'm learning a lot quickly. But yes, it's very exciting. Very sad that I'm leaving all the people, my friends and people I've worked with for such a long time. But a lot of the skills I've learned are transferable, and
yes, exactly.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
And you're moving around the corner.
Yeah.
So you're not far from them, and you can always pop around to see them or go out for coffees or whatever. Anyway, so you're not as if you're leaving them totally.
No, exactly.
They're just around the corner, and FaceTime, phone calls, Messenger. Everyone's local.
Exactly.
Everyone's local. Right then.
It's going to say it's nearly 3:30.
Right then. Okay, who mentioned coffee? Yeah. Oh, that's the point. I haven't got any coffee. You got coffee? No, I just got some water. All right then. We are going to start 3:30. I think we're about to start. What say you, Louise?
Yes, would you like a question?
First of all, I got a bit of an intro, so when I record this and play it back on At the Bench, it starts.
Okay, go on then.
Welcome to the question and answer session. It is the 22nd of July, 3:30. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We have got an hour's worth of question and answers coming along. Everybody's been leaving some fantastic questions in the chat. I've just been having a bit of a look through some really exciting questions. So let's start off then, shall we, Louise? What is the first question? And hopefully the mics will be good this week. And we won't get any echoes, and Louise won't be cut off and she won't be going anymore. Anyway, first question, please, Louise.
Okay. David is asking about 3D printers for lost wax casting. Can you recommend a 3D printer and a good filament material?
Okay, I don't know much about 3D printing as such, but I know that if you go to Solidscape I've heard are really, really good. They're not the cheapest. I don't think they're the most expensive, but Solidscape are really, really good. Also, I think Roland produce some very good 3D printers, resin printers as well. That's about as much as I know. When it comes to resin, I don't really know much about resin. All I know is that GVK.com. There's a guy called Graham Dix that is the UK distributor for Matrix, obviously the industry standards, or 3D printing, 3D CAD CAM, GemVision, and they do recommend Solidscape. Graham Dix, I think, sure, it's, if I can remember seeing it in my head, is it GVQ, something like that? I think it's GVQ, GVK.com, Graham Dix. Put Matrix after that, and you should be able to come up with something. I'm best turn off my phone. There we go. GVUK.
It's here.
Yeah, GVUK. Graham Dix. That is the guy that you really need to contact. Yeah. So the website is. Louise is just going to post this now onto the chat. But yeah, they are, I think Solidescape are one of the best. So gvukdesign.co.uk. Check them out. They have some fantastic 3D printers on there. That's about the best answer that I can get at this current moment in time until I actually splash out and buy myself some software and a printer, but that's not going to be for a while yet. Oh. Next question then, please, Louise.
Okay. Jane is asking, what's the best way to get a good flush joint on a bangle? Tried filing ends flat and also sawing through the gap. Couldn't hold it tight enough to keep the ends together to stop the bangle from moving.
This is really awkward because with a ring, when it comes round, there's not an awful lot of metal and the metal is quite rigid. Bangle, admittedly, not as easy. The best thing, in fact, Jason's got it downstairs.
Want me to go and get it?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Ask Jason for that little mitre vice that he was using for the. I'll turn your mic off on here. You're okay. No, exactly. Yeah. It's the mitre vice that he was using for the cross.
Mitre vice that he was using
for the cross. Excellent. It is really, really difficult because yes, the bangle tends to move. Sometimes you're better off using something like a. Do you like that?
Yes.
Or your fob. Yeah, we got a new entry and exit system on the door, so we need a fob to get in and out.
The mitre vice. So you said?
Mitre vice for the cross. Thank you. Louise is just going downstairs to pick up the mitre vice. Yeah, really, if you had like a sanding disc with a sanding on both sides in a flex shaft, you could sort of hold on to the bangle in one way and then put the disc in between so it files both sides. Your best bet is just purely to use eye, and I'll show you the vice when Louise just comes up in a second. I'm on my own. It's fascinating. It seems really, really strange. I got all the questions by there. So that is the best way, is to try and get it and file it and then turn it over and file it again. It is really, really difficult, admittedly. So yeah, when Louise comes back with the mitre vice, I will show you the sort of mitre vice that I would recommend when it comes to filing the ends of bangles. And I'm just going to crack on with here. 3D Rhino Dual. Yeah, there's lots of 3D printers, admittedly, out there. Everyone has their favourite. I personally don't have a favourite because I've never used one. I'm only saying exactly what I've actually seen. And I've actually seen being used at the trade shows as well. What's the name of the sulfur solution used to tarnish, and where can I purchase it? Mark, it's liver sulfur. Liver sulfur, you can buy it in small little capsules on eBay. They sell some, you can say it concentrated, mix it with some bit of water. You can also buy liver sulfur in little crystals as well. You can put that in water. That's the best sort of thing. What's the other one? Oh God, my mind is gone today. My mind is gone. But liver of sulfur is the best sort of patina you can get. So I'm trying to, I haven't got access. The computer's over there, you see. And where is Louise? She is taking so long. Budget printing resin, you can also choose for a castable resin, very easy. But for production in large numbers, go for injection molding. Yes. I have a very hard time soldering, twisting wire together. Spell, please, liver of sulfur. Yes, basically. Let me see if I've got it myself. I got a little container that I bought on eBay. There it is there. And it is, come nice and close to here. Yep, liver of sulfur. All right, everyone got that? Liver of sulfur. And with that, you dunk that into your little bit of water. Warm water is best. It really works out really, really well. Platinol, that's the one, Janet. It was Platinol was the other one I was thinking of. That's just as good. Here she comes.
Jason's gone to the post office.
Oh.
And we looked for it, but we didn't know what it looked like, so...
Right, your mic's on now, so be careful what you say. All right, shall I run down and get it? I'm going to have to run down and get it.
Sorry.
That's okay, I'm going to put the mic on you now, so you can talk. Yes. Right, the mic's on Louise just for a second. You can sit there. Not sitting down, are you?
No.
Oh, come on. I have to run downstairs. No, I have to run downstairs. I'll run downstairs. Your mic's off. What do you want to say? All right, I've answered a few questions as well. Liver, sulfur, platinol. Done that. It is very smelly and it's toxic, so take care. Platinol. If you asked Sharon to get Jason to bring it up when he comes.
No, sorry.
All the places going to the dogs, man.
I'm only unemployed and you get me.
Don't say that. All right, I'll let you go back through it all. We shall get to the mitre block a bit later. I do apologise for that. Go on then, Louise. Let's crack on then. What have we got? Let's have another question.
That I can do. Oh, I've read that one. Okay, hang on. I'm all over tizzy now because I had to run downstairs. Wait a minute. Okay.
Yes? Yeah.
It's because you made me go downstairs. Sorry, I do apologise. I just don't want to miss anybody's questions, so I'm just...
Yes. So,
okay.
Yeah. So we've done the liver sulfur and it's platinol for that, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Andrew Roberts has tried making filigree wire and wondered what dimensions do I want to end up with the length and width cross section.
Well, it really depends on the sort of thickness of wire that you're after. If you're after sort of pure type of the original type of filigree, where you have two wires and you twist the wires together and then you sort of slightly flatten it and you can twist that round. Obviously, the thickness of the wire, you have to think about, it's going to be double the thickness of the rod or the wire that you're using. But it depends upon the style, so there's no real given formula to say what thickness filigree wire you need. If you are making up this twisted wire and you're flattening it, something like perhaps 3/4 of a millimetre, and then twist it, you're going to get 1.5 millimetre. You're going to flatten it then through perhaps a rolling mill, and then you're going to get around about a 1 millimetre wire. That may be fine for your sort of particular type of application. Obviously, if you're making a big pendant like this, you don't want to have very, very fine wire. So it's dependent upon the overall size of the pendant that you really want to make to get the right size of filigree. Louise, are you ready for our next question?
I'm just messaging Jason to say bring up the mic device.
Okay, he's around the post office. It may be a while. All right, next question then, please.
Right.
This day someone's using Jack's silver blackener and it works great. Yeah, I think Jack's has been mentioned quite a few times, hasn't it, over the past few weeks. I've never seen Jack's silver blackener, but we'll have to certainly look into that.
Okay.
Next question, please, Louise.
India and Albert, I know your calculation for corrugation using 0.5 mil thick silver was 84%. What is it for 0.3 mil thick?
Oh my gosh, I really don't know. What you're going to have to do, it depends on the corrugations that you've got and the corrugator that you've got. The best way of working this out is to get your 0.3 piece of metal, get a set length, perhaps get a length that is, for argument's sake, say 10 centimeters, 100 millimeters in length. That's a nice easy number. Yeah. So you've got, using my whiteboard, so you get a piece of metal that is 0.5 millimeter thick, that is from there to there 100. Okay. So that is your length of metal. Then you get your corrugator, and then your bit of metal now will come out like that. All right, it will, won't it? Yes, it will, like that. Okay. So your 100 length metal is being corrugated into that sort of shape. Okay. Then you measure the length of this. And say now this is 80 millimeters, you know that the reduction is 0.8 because it is that. So if you want to make a piece of metal after it has been corrugated 100, so your corrugated piece is going to be 100 from there to there. If you want that to be 100, it has to be in the region of, my maths is rubbish, Louise. What is this? How's your maths?
What have you got?
So if you have 100,
Yeah.
yeah, and you times that by 0.8, it comes out at 80.
Yeah.
But what if you want to start with this?
Do you have 80?
You got 80.
Yeah.
What have you got to times that by to take into account the corrugation, or 100? You want 100.
Ooh.
You want 100 and you times that by, what is it?
What is it,
Do you know?
guys?
Help us.
So,
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention, sorry.
Okay, you have a piece of metal.
Yeah.
You start off, you want another reduction.
Yes.
So we have a piece of metal that is 100 millimeters in length.
So 0.8.
Yeah. Come on in, Jace. Come on in, Jace. The arm comes round the door.
Ask Jason to solve your can.
That would. Right. Okay. So you have a piece of metal that's 100 millimeters in length, Louise. Yeah. After you've corrugated it, it is
So
80 millimeters.
0.2.
You've lost 0.2.
0.2.
Oh, so in that case, do you times that by 0.2?
So you lose 0.2 mil.
No, 20 mil.
You lose 20 mil.
Yeah.
So how many times is it corrugated? That.
Depends upon the corrugation machine.
Okay.
Yeah. 120%. Claire, thank you. It is 120%. Yes. So you times 100 by 120%. So your piece of metal has to start off at 120. I just did 100 because it was going to be a lot easier. And I thought it was going to be easy, but my math today is actually gone. So that is your calculation. But you've got to do it. There is no set given formula. You have to do it first of all with your piece of metal, with your corrugation machine to work this out. But thank you, everybody. Trevor, yes, 100 divided by 0.8. Yeah, thank you. See, there's some really brainy people in that chat today. It's not like us, though. Not like us. All right, so there we go. So that is, I can't give you an exact answer, but that is the way to work out the formula, to work out, yeah, you know exactly what I mean. Fantastic. Gonna pot, aren't we? Really? Like, next question, please.
Okay. Ali makes name necklaces. I cut the names via laser. Once I cut, a reddish residue forms up and becomes hard to remove. After a lot of polishing, it goes away. Is there a quicker way to get rid of it?
Wow, I've never used a laser, but that's really posh to cut up names using a laser. What happened to your
A reddish residue.
I presume that's going to be something then from perhaps the copper that is going to be. Is it gold?
Yeah,
even if it was silver, it may be the copper that is within the alloy that may be causing that. So I don't really know exactly what that would be. I've never used a laser to cut out metal at all, so I don't know exactly what that is. But thinking about it, could well be the copper. I would have thought that maybe reacting with the laser.
Reddish residue.
I don't know. So is it hard? It's hard to. So what if? I suppose if you cover the piece, it's going to burn, isn't it? So you can't have a burn. Well, yeah. What if you covered the piece with like a paper or something? The laser would go through that. Perhaps it would set fire to the paper. I don't know. I really can't answer that question, but it may be the copper reacting with the laser if it's red.
Does it happen with all metals then, or just have you tried doing it with different?
I don't know. Because if you think about it, there's copper in gold, there's copper in silver.
But they're varying amounts though.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So if it's more, well, it will be more obvious, though, wouldn't it? Yeah.
No, so we don't know exactly, but yeah, have a play around with it. Let us know, is it gold, is it silver, and perhaps we can do a bit of looking into it and find out what the reason is for it happening. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I can't really help much more than that, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Not very good today, am I? That's about 2 questions I haven't been able to answer. These are hard questions, Louise.
Oh, no. Okay, Tammy has a couple of questions. Is 20 mule team borax the same as your borax cone? And what would cause me argentium not to fuse?
I don't know about argentium. I'm not an expert. I can't assist you on argentium, I'm afraid. Is the 20, I think it is, because I remember someone saying about the mule borax powder. As long as there's no additives to it, there may be some additives that should not be in there. I'm sure these borax cones here are pretty pure borax with no additives to it. So just make sure, because some of the borax that you buy is for laundry use, for making sure it can get it nice and white and bright. Make sure there are no additives to the borax powder. Otherwise, you may find it just won't work at all and the solder won't flow at all. So make sure it's nice and pure, but double check the ingredients first of all. Lots of questions coming in now, my goodness me.
And welcome, Tammy, because it's your first time
Tammy. Tammy.
Yeah.
Had to say hello to Tammy.
Yeah, so first time watching.
Thank you for joining us today. Really do appreciate it. Tell all your friends. Nice little community we got. All right then, next question then please, Louise.
Okay, Eni, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I'm planning on buying a Donegan Optivisor, but can't decide on a number 4 or a number 5. Is there a big difference between the two? Which one do you recommend for more general work?
Okay, so I have a 4, a 5 and a 7. I primarily use a number 4, but what you've got to remember is the fact that as the number increases, so you've got whether it be a 3, a 4, 5, 6, 7. As the number increases, the magnification increases. Fantastic, absolutely brilliant. But the depth of field decreases. So for argument's sake, say you're looking at a piece of jewellery and you've got a number 4. This is number 4, okay? Number 4 here. So when I move my hand by here for me is in focus here, okay? But also I can take my hand down to here. So I've got this depth here that is in focus, which is about, I suppose, what's that, 4 or 5 inches, perhaps 5 inches, which is brilliant. You don't have to keep moving your head back and forth to get what you've got in front of you in focus. I don't have my 7 up here, but if you have a number 7, you can bring your work closer to you. You can see it in greater detail, but the depth of field, what is in focus, is a lot narrower, so you may end up moving your head back and forth, but also the piece has to be near you. So if you're piercing away like this with a number 7 and you try and look, what you're going to find is that the saw is going to be hitting your visor, which is no good. So I often use a number 7 if I'm really going in close, when I'm not moving my hands too much, perhaps when I'm bezel setting or doing some graving or some flush setting, when my hand really isn't moving much. But if I'm sawing or piercing, perhaps I'll put a number 4 on and I can work quite nicely by here, and all this area now in front of me here is in focus and my head isn't going to get hit by the saw when it comes up. So a 4 for me is spot on. I've had a 4 for years and years and years and years, and I only use a 7 for really close-up work. But they're really good. But don't think about buying 3s or 4 headbands. You can buy the lenses separately and the lenses can come out, and so you can replace the lenses instead of the headbands, which adds to the cost. There we go. How about that? An actual question I've got right. Next question, Louise.
Okay. Tracy is asking, what type of ventilation do you use in the studio? I have a fan in the ceiling. Do I need something directly attached to my soldering station?
There are a lot of systems out there that has extraction that you can build into the back of your bench. I can't remember the brand. Fordham. I think Fordham do a device that actually fits onto the bench peg itself that will suck away and has an extractor fan. So when you're working away, say you're doing some grinding or some castings or some polishing, it'll suck the dust immediately away from you. Some people will have perhaps an exhaust, perhaps a suction unit on the back of where they're soldering, so it sucks all the fumes away. I personally find I don't get an awful lot of fumes. I use borax, and I also use solder wire or panels of solder. And I know you don't get an awful lot of fumes coming up from that. If you use things like solder paste or syringe solder, you do get quite a bit of fumes from that, so you perhaps should not work directly over the soldering board, or perhaps work towards an open window, but have the door open behind you, so there's a through draft that is taking the air, a nice circulation of air. Don't have a fan too close to you, because when you're soldering and the flame is on, and you have a flame near you, it's going to blow the flame and you're not going to get really good results because of that. And even though the flame looks pretty big, it doesn't take much to alter the direction of that flame. And even using a Smith's little torch that we have downstairs, you could go and blow the flame out. It's as easy as that. So we never have any fans near us. We've always got a window open, and there's always a bit of a through draft coming through, just to take any of the fumes or the whatever it is that comes off when you're soldering. And when you're using your flex shaft, there are various screens to put in front of you. Have I got one here? I've got this screen down here that you can buy to protect your face as well. This is a screen that is available from New Concepts, and this will pop onto your bench peg like that, and then you've got a screen that will fit into the top of your device that you've just put on your what's this called again? This thing. Brain's gone. Yeah, your bench peg. And you've got this in front of it then, so you can have this going like this. And this is also electric as well, so there's lights there. There's lights built into it this way, so you can use that. So when you are using your flex shaft this way, there is no excuse the thing. Yeah, there is nothing flying up into your face, and this is a good way of protecting as well. So that would be my sort of hints and tips. These are pretty good. The light is pretty good, I must admit, but you do need an adapter plate to go onto your bench peg, onto that there, not your bench peg, your dovetail plate. New Concepts sell them, and then you can even put your peg then onto there like that, and you can work away safe in the knowledge that you're not going to breathe in any dust or any bits of polish that gets chucked out at your face. There we go. Next question then, please, Louise. Louise has got a brand new diary today, haven't you? She loves a brand new diary, because we write all these little notes on bits of paper, and then we just, there's like bits of paper everywhere, and we always forget what we've written down, and I always lose them. So Louise has been really, really organised, and she's got a lovely diary that she is going to write everybody's questions and all the little things that we've got to sort out. Yes, Louise. Anyway, next question. I'm walking in front of you, and I do apologise.
Okay.
Next question, please, Louise.
Right. How's your mounted druzy?
The druzy's looking really good. I have to...
How is it mounted? Have you made a video on it?
I haven't made it, but I've got this. This is an awesome drawing that was sent to me by Trevor. Trevor, I asked last week if there was some ideas of different ways. Yes.
Has he drawn the actual stone?
I'll show you now. Yeah. Yeah. That's an awesome drawing, if you ask me. That's brilliant.
Wow.
Good, isn't it?
That's drawn.
No, that was the image that we had on the gem light box.
I mean, it's fab, isn't it?
Yeah. So I asked for sort of ideas, and Trevor came up with this. I think it's a really, really, really good idea for Gillian's druzy. I'm going to ask Gillian. I know Gillian's on at the moment. Gillian, I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. We've got this. This is really good. You can see, obviously, this is a pendant. And Trevor has done this with quite a high bezel, not a bezel, a bearing, and also with claws. I love this. Gillian, do you want me to do this? Do you want it have in a claw setting, or do you want it in a bezel setting? So this is the other thing I was thinking of. Something similar to this. How close can we get with this camera here? So this is something that we did on the, let's turn that around there so we can get this going, or we have this style. I was going to do it in this particular style here because the druzy is really, really high. It's very hard to bezel set. So this is something that I showed on our event, our 12-hour event. As you can see, it's got a bit more of a scalloped edge. So I'm open to ideas. We'll have a vote, shall we? If we can have a vote. Can you put polls on these, do you know?
I don't know, not that I can
Okay,
see.
so let's have a look, right? So I can either do claw set, like Trevor's here. I'm not saying, you know, favoritism or anything like that, Just so no. Do you want me to do it in like a claw set, or do you want me to do it in like a bezel set style of ring? Just let me know and see what you think. I do like this. I'm really, really amazed with this drawing that Trevor has done. He's used Adobe Illustrator for this, and I think it's absolutely brilliant the way he's done it. Very talented man, Trevor. Thank you very much for that. Do appreciate it. So Louise is just putting together a very, very quick poll for the people who are on at this precise moment in time. This is live at the moment. If you're watching a replay, don't click on the link. As they say on the television, you may be charged, but your votes won't necessarily be, but you're not being charged. So just let me know, do you want druzy quartz, claw set or bezel set? Louise is just going to put together a very quick survey for you to come on and just let me know what you want done, because Louise loves a Google form, don't you, babe?
I do.
You do, she does. All right, and I can't do anything else because all I can see is Louise doing this in front of me here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I can read another question.
Oh, please, yeah, please do.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Jasmine would like to know what materials can be used to join leather and expensive metals.
Your best thing to do then is to use cold connections and rivets. Rivets are going to be a really good way to join a leather to a piece of metal, as you do when you join, sort of like do belts. You use rivets to join two pieces of leather together. What you can do, which would be quite nice, I don't know what sort of, just came to me then, what you're planning on doing, so what you could do, is, for argument's sake, is produce, I don't know, this is like a cap. For argument's sake, you've got like a necklace and you want to put end caps on it. So there would be your ring that would go on the end, and this is a bit of a wonky space actually. Or that would be your space here. Yep, let me just zoom in on this so we can see. There, and then you have your piece of leather that is by here. This is your piece of leather, like that. So this piece of leather could go into this gap here, and then you can just drill a hole and you can put a rivet through that hole. So the leather would go in. So your leather would go in like this. And so this is your leather. And then you'd have a rivet going through, and you can make a nice decorative head to that rivet. It goes right the way through, that then would stop that from coming out. And that'll be quite nice, decorative ends like that. Or anything cold connection wise. I wouldn't try and rely upon the glue or anything like that. It's not really going to hold. But riveting cold connections, because you can't use solder. You're a bit too close. You can't use solder right at all like that, because it's going to burn. So that would be your best bet. Cold connections. There we go. I think there is a link now that has appeared in the chat box. If you want to just click on that and let me know. Do you want me to do a claw set druzy or a bezel set druzy? Bearing in mind it is going to be a ring. Okay, next question then, please, Louise. Thank you very much for doing that.
That's no problem.
Very good. Next question.
I should have put ring in the form, shouldn't I, really?
Oh, don't worry, it's okay. Excellent, nice.
Excellent. Okay.
Next question, please.
Okay. Sandy says, I'm having a very hard time soldering twisted wire together. Any tricks?
You've got to make sure that it is completely annealed beforehand. Depends upon the thickness of your wire as well. The best bet would be to get your third hand. If I had if I had a piece of metal in front of me, I can actually do it. So let's go on to this whiteboard again. So you have your third hand by here. This is your third hand coming along like this. It's on a base like this. So this is your third hand. You've got a twisted wire coming around. You put the twisted wire in the third hand by here. So then you get the torch in your left hand. So then here then is your torch. Here's your torch here. And then you get your end of the twisted wire, this end here, in a pair of tweezers that you're holding on to here. These are AA tweezers. There we go. And you hold on to this end of the twisted wire, and as you bring the flame close, you bring the two ends together. Because you can't physically hold both ends of a ring, for argument's sake, this third hand here will hold the twisted wire nicely, and then you can direct the flame where you want to, bearing in mind that this side here is going to have to heat up a lot more so than this side, because this is going to act as a heat sink. This is going to take some of the heat away. So bring the flame in and then just bend, just push this end of the twisted wire that you've got your tweezers attached to now, like that, and just push it together. So when your flame comes in, the two wires are here and it just comes together and you can solder. That is going to be the best way of doing it. You could lay it out on your charcoal block, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to try and get the ends perfectly together, because when you heat it up, they're going to move, they're going to twist and so forth. But if you can eliminate the ends from moving by holding one end in the third hand and hold the other end with your tweezers, you should be able to solder it quite successfully. Thank you so much. And don't forget, please click the form. Let us know whether you want it done in a bezel set or a claw set ring, Gillian's druzy. It's by here and I haven't forgotten about it. Everybody, let's have another question, please, Louise.
Okay. Roger is melting pure fine silver and oxygen is absorbed in it. Is there a way to degas the silver?
I don't think there is. You're just going to have to make sure that you don't use an oxidizing flame for that, because silver will absorb the oxygen. So if you have a flame that's going, it's really hissing, there's too much oxygen coming into it, and that oxygen is going to be absorbed by the silver. You have to make sure that it's quite more of a neutral flame, so you don't have too much oxygen going into it, and then it won't absorb it. But once there's oxygen in that silver, I don't think there's any way that you're going to degas it or anything like that at all, unless you sort of refine it and put it in nitric acid to put it into suspension, and then put some can't remember what it is into the suspension to make it all solidify. So no, there is no way at all. Yes, sorry, very quick one. Mandy, the claw has an open back, so it lets the light through. The problem with a druzy is there's no light being able to come through it. Let me just quickly show you the stone we're talking about. This is the druzy that was very kindly given to us by Jodie from Hibiscus Days Jewellery up in Scotland. Fantastic druzy, and the druzies are pretty much made out of like a stone. There is no light being able to go through that, so it just purely relies upon the light coming down from the top into the or onto the stone and reflected back. There's no real, you can't really see through it. It's very much an opaque. So to be honest, it doesn't matter whether it's a closed back or an open back. I don't really think there's going to be much of a difference when it comes to the appearance of the stone. But I certainly get your point. If you went for the claw set, there's a ring on the back, there's less silver. But then again, if you have a bezel set, you don't have to have a closed back. But also you've got to think about, it's got to go onto a ring as well. So how are we going to fasten the ring onto the claw set? Yeah, I'll leave it up to you. Right, next question please, Louise.
Okay, Guess is asking, is work hardened 999 silver tough enough for heavier bracelet use?
Personally, I wouldn't use pure silver. I don't think there's any advantage with using pure silver as opposed to sterling silver. I think even work hardened pure silver is going to be a little bit on the soft side. You're better off. I'm not quite sure, would there be a reason why you're using pure silver for a bangle as opposed to using sterling silver, which is a lot stronger because of the alloy and also a lot cheaper as well. So me personally, I wouldn't, but you can. What was the question again? Is work hardened pure silver tough enough? Is work hardened 999 silver tough enough for heavier bracelet use? In theory, yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is tough enough because it can withstand, providing the section of metal is thick enough. If you have it too thin, well, then it's going to be very, very squashy. But if you have it thick enough and it's work hardened, it should be substantial enough. Let me have that because I just remembered what we're supposed to be doing with it now.
That's why I waved it around.
Oh, you did. So going back to the question about, wrong one, about bangles, trying to get the ends of the bangles just right. This is, wrong camera, there we go. This is a little vise that you can buy, and it enables you to make angles of 90 degrees, 45 degrees, 30 degrees and 60 degrees. So this is what I would use to get nice straight edges on the bangle. There's a little bit of a cutout here, and there's a little bit sticking up. That runs right the way through, so you can put your piece of metal into there, and then get the 90 degrees. Here we go, here. So you can put your piece of metal into the gap, rest it up against this straight edge coming through, close the clamp, tighten up the nuts upon the top, and then where the metal comes through this side, you can file it nice and flat, and you'll get a nice 90-degree edge to it. Good idea. They're about 45 pounds. Alternatively, you could get a tri-square. There we go. And simply do that by eye and use a tri-square to mark a 90-degree line right across your bangle, but then you rely upon the accuracy of the filing because you're doing that freehand. But these little vices, this was from a company in the UK called Cousins UK. We've mentioned them before. Lots of tool suppliers sell these. Very, very good. Ideal for getting the exact angles just right. So that'd be a brilliant little device for getting the ends of your bangles exactly nice and square. Next question, please, Louise.
Okay, Maxime is asking, after finishing making a ring, what sort of aftercare do you do to it? I've got a zap and lac solution that I put onto it to protect it.
Okay, so as in for the tarnish then, I suppose, yeah? Keeping it nice and clean, yeah, I presume? Yeah,
I
guess so. Okay, so what would you use? I think a lot of times, I think silver sort of works and wears really nicely. I think a bit of silver that you've worn over the years, whether it be sort of a ring or a pendant or a necklace, does get a nice patina and a nice sort of finish about it. If you need to protect the finish that you've put onto the silver, perhaps it may be a satin or a brushed finish, it's only going to be there for a short period of time because the wearing and the knocking against the materials and so forth is going to burnish it. If you've got like a liver of sulfur and you want to protect the colour.
Is the tarnish, Maxime's asking about anti-tarnish.
And okay, so fantastic, yes. So you want to protect that, you can use, there's something that Yentner produce. Yentner do the plating. So there is a coating that will go upon the silver, but the problem that you've got is that because it is literally a protective coating, it's going to wear off quite quickly. So I had a feeling that you'd have to reapply that quite regular if you've got more of a sort of a demanding job where you wear the piece more often. Yeah. Or you could lacquer it, but again, if you lacquer it, you're going to be reapplying that to protect it. I like to have things nicely worn, but I don't think you're going to be able to completely get the tarnish or stop the tarnish appearing on the silver at all. Not all the time. There's going to be a time, perhaps the piece will be nice and clean for a little while until that coating comes off, because it will wear off.
I was just going to say, how long would they generally last, those coatings?
It's like everything else, isn't it? It just depends upon the wear that you get. I suppose if you coat it and put it in a box, I'm sure it'll stay pristine forever. But then obviously the more you wear it, the more the abrasiveness will wear that coating off. As soon as you take that coating off, the bare silver is exposed, it will start to tarnish straight away. But then if you keep wearing it, it's going to wear that tarnish off, isn't it? It's going to wear it and it's going to keep it nice and clean as well. So I don't think it's going to be a definite permanent solution, just a temporary one until you reapply it all the time. But yeah, there is one called, and I got it downstairs actually, but you do have to keep applying it. And the problem is that when you use like a silver dip on a piece of jewellery, whatever is on that piece of silver to protect it is off completely. And once you've silver dipped something, it does sort of tarnish, I find, a lot more quicker then than if you actually just left it.
Really?
Yes, because it's due to the chemicals of the silver dip. Anyway,
Wow.
we should look into that, about anti-tarnish and things. Yeah, it'd be interesting. Next question then, please, Louise.
Okay, Lena is asking, when polishing using silicone wheels, do you use polishing compounds with them? I have no idea about using them.
No, you don't. The silicone wheels, they should be impregnated with a grit. If you just open the cupboard behind her, please, Louise. On the left-hand side, there's a whole load of containers that... sorry, my... Yep.
These here?
Yep, there's a whole load of containers.
Do you want them all?
No, just one or two of them is fine. Thank you, darling.
That one?
Yep, that'll be excellent. Thank you. So these are something called FE Flex. Let me make that a bit bigger. So these are some sort of rubberized radial wheels, and you get them in various grits. These are impregnated. They all feel pretty much the same. They're like a silicone rubber. What you'll find is that the rubber has been impregnated with a grit. The grits all vary. These are 500 grit. I think they go down to about 900 or 1000 grit. So you don't have to use a polish because you're not really polishing. You're just using the grits that are impregnated in with these wheels to remove the surface, the finish, the tarnish and that sort of thing. Once you've done that and you start going on with these sort of little felt wheels, there is no polish or anything in that, so you'd have to have a polish to use these felt wheels. The silicone wheels, no, don't use polish, use them as they are. Next question, please. Everything right with your water there?
Oh, somebody's drawn something on it. Was it you?
Yes, I did. I drew it last week. That was what I was using to draw for the little device that goes on the end of your pendant motor to stop it flying at your face.
Not important. Okay.
Next question, please, Louise.
How can I make pickling solution if I can't find any? What chemicals can I use?
A lot of people use vinegar and salt. I don't know what actual proportions they use, but vinegar and salt people use, and also things like citric acid. You can buy in powdered form, so you can buy that in a chemist, anywhere like that. Citric acid. Did we have some of that for doing?
Powdered form, didn't we?
I think we had that when we were doing our homebrew a few weeks ago.
Our blackcurrant wine, yeah.
Our blackcurrant wine, yeah. We do a bit of blackcurrant wine. We've got some elderflower wine going, rhubarb wine. We've got it all going, haven't we? Nice. Citric acid, very good. Warm water, vinegar with some salt, apparently. That is your best solution to use, although it's not as good as the proprietary safety pickle, the pickling, or the sodium bisulfate that you get. Sodium bisulfate is quite warm. I've got it on. It's the swimming pool sort of chlorine stuff. It is sodium bisulfate. Yeah, so that's your best answer. Nice and safe to have in the home as well. Next question, please, Louise.
The guys on the chat have been talking about liver of sulfur.
Yes.
And somebody's highlighted the need for appropriate ventilation when using it.
It does smell because it is sulfur.
Well, apparently it can cause brain damage over a time as well. It's
Really?
dangerous if you, so somebody just brought up a really important safety.
Wow, okay.
That I thought was definitely worth mentioning. It was, Dolores.
Mm.
Yeah, and Mike, apparently they've been having a little chat about the liver of sulfur, somebody asked. So,
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously you definitely use that in a well-ventilated room or
I think
outside.
the smell would drive you to ventilate anyway, wouldn't it? But yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
If it's really bad for you.
So I wonder if that is just purely for liver sulfur, and does it apply to anything else, I wonder?
Yeah, does anybody know of anything else that's...
Platinol is the other solution that we use, but I'm not quite sure whether that's a trade name for liver sulfur. I don't know. So that'll be interesting to find out. Obviously, the safest option is to use boiled eggs in a bag.
Does that
with
work
your
as
piece.
effectively? Because that comes up
No.
frequently, the boiled egg trick.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not as effective. No, but again, it's like the pickle, isn't it? It's like a safe version of pickle,
Yeah.
and that's a safe version of putting a patina on your. I'll give this back to you. Patina on your silver. There we go. But yeah, it's a good point. Good point. But yeah, I must admit, ventilation is very important when it comes to using things like acids or using anything that involves chemicals and dust and everything else. Yeah. Mark, yeah, swimming pool pH. Yes, it is that stuff that goes in swimming pools. Okay, let's carry on. Let's have another question, please, Louise.
Okay. Liver of sulfur. Is a basic butane torch good for starting to soldering good, or do I need a jeweller's torch?
No, start off with a basic butane torch. We are doing courses, at the bench, which is our online jewellery and training website, as you know here, but we're also going to be doing some standalone courses, starting right with the basics. And we're doing really basic starters, how to saw, how to drill, how to file, and so forth. And we are starting off with a very basic toolkit. You see some people, they're saying, yeah, we've got a Smith's little torch, we got this, we got that, we got a big bit of microscope, we got this. You don't need all that initially. As you progress, yeah, it's great to have all that equipment, but to start off, you don't want to go invest in thousands and thousands of pounds. Start off small, start off reasonably inexpensive, and what you can do is get one of these little torches. This little guy here is sort of like a chef's torch, creme brulee torch. Very simple. You put the butane in the bottom here. You use, I've got one of the yellow containers, I don't think I have. You use, it's a lighter fuel, goes in here, you turn that, you push the button, the torch comes on, and you get the flame. And you can adjust the flame by twisting, you get the general gist of the idea. And those are about 25, 30 pounds. That is ideal to start off with. Obviously, it does have its limitations. You can't start doing big bangles or big pieces of jewellery with it, because it's just not big, it's just not strong enough. But for learning how to solder, learning how the torch works, learning how to handle the heat and where to apply the heat and when things are going to melt and so forth, that is ideal. If you want to go to the next size up, this is called, I think this is called a Pro Flame. This is from Sisto Tech. If you go on to andrewberry.co.uk, go on to the top, stuff that Andrew uses. So that's andrewberry.co.uk, stuff that Andrew uses. There's links to these types of little basic, inexpensive torches and tools that we use. Anything like that is ideal. Once you get to grips with those torches and understand how they work, then you can progress on to perhaps a Sievert torch or an easy torch in the US. But something like that is ideal. I see too many people on the Facebook groups that are saying, I've given up, I'm selling all my equipment, I've just started, I can't get a grips with it, I can't do that. And they've got thousands and thousands of pounds worth of equipment they have just bought because they thought that is what they need. You don't necessarily need all that equipment to start off with. Start off with something basic, something cheap, don't need anything flash. Get to learn the control of these tools before you progress. So yes, the answer is yes, you can. Just use a basic torch for your small little things. Jump rings, making chains, small rings, absolutely perfect. You won't go far wrong. Next question, please, Louise.
Okay. Would you like another Argentium question?
No, okay.
Sorry,
so Argentium, I don't have any experience. I should. I've never really sort of gone down the lines of Argentium. So I'm afraid I have to say I'm not the person to ask when it comes to Argentium. But we keep saying the lady.
Oh,
no, it's Marcia Cordell. I get it wrong. Marcia Coryell.
Yes.
That is the lady. That is the lady that you need. All about Argentium. Argentium. Marcia Coryell. The top one. I think it's Marcia Coryell. She is the best one for Argentium silver. Rhonda Coryell. Check out Rhonda Coryell. She does some fantastic books. She does some DVDs, some brilliant things. I know they're not cheap, but they're completely well worth the money if you want to invest in it. She does some books as well. But yeah,
we forget her name every week, and Romy always reminds us. Thank you. Bless you.
Yeah. Rhonda Coryell. Thank you. So why do you fuse Argentium? They're Argentium solid. A lot of times it's good to fuse metal because then there are no soldered joints in it, and without a soldered joint, if you fuse it, it is going to be far stronger. When we do platinum resizing, or if you want to have a bit of a laugh, I had a bit of a funny last night. Go on to Andrew Berry, my Facebook page, have a look at a video that I didn't do it on purpose. I was listening to some music. I was trying to get some copyright-free music, and this bit of music came up, and I was really inspired by it.
I just have no words.
No words can describe the 2 minutes 52 seconds of stupidness.
It was good,
wasn't it?
It was something to watch.
It's something to watch. I think Pablo is going to be
He's going to be quaking in his boots when he
Pablo is going to be quaking when he sees what I've got planned for my next epic. Right, that's enough of that. Let's get back with some questions, Louise.
Okay, yeah. Right, okay. So, yeah, sorry, Tammy. Okay, I have an application to join a 0.1 mil thick and 0.9 mil thick pure silver. I'm using BAG36 alloy.
Don't know, my gosh, this is getting so technical now.
As pre-form of washer. I'm facing a problem of burn through, please advise. It's a furnace brazing under argon.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. An application to join 1 mil thick and 0.1 mil thick and 0.9 mil thick pure silver. BAG36 alloy.
Yes, okay.
As a preform of washer. I'm facing a problem of burn through. It's furnace brazing under argon.
Okay, so furnace brazing most probably means where you have the furnace and the pieces coming through the furnace, and you're attempting then to obviously to solder or to fuse these pieces of wires together, and it's under argon, so there's no oxygen getting onto the piece. I really don't know why that would be the case. We use argon gas when we use our puck, our arc or pulse welding, and that works quite well for us. But again, it's all down to the control of the electric in that case, and the spark and the shape of the spark, the length, the time, and so forth. But I really can't help you with the brazing question on that. That is far too technical for me, I'm afraid. I really can't help. I'm afraid I do have to disappoint you on that one. I'm sorry. I really can't help you. Sorry. If I knew what BAG36 would be, if I knew, yeah. Okay, next question, please, Louise.
Last week you recommended Renaissance wax. This is Janet. Can we can't import or mail as it's inflammable.
Right.
Google suggests alternatives: shoe polish or Canabara.
Yeah, Canabara wax.
Yeah. what would you suggest?
Yeah, Carnauba wax
Car
is pretty...
wax for classic cars?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's pretty good. There shouldn't be anything in that. That's pretty much a pure form of wax, because Jason, who works for me, he makes his own car waxes. So he uses carbonara. Is it sure it's carbonara, or am I thinking carbonara sauce?
You're just hungry.
Yeah, that's where I'm hungry. So yeah, it's the carbonara, whatever it was, the carbonara.
Canuba.
So Canuba.
Canuba.
I was thinking my pasta sauce again.
Yeah.
Canuba wax. Yes, I would use that for applying. But I would have thought pretty much that would be, as that's a wax, I'm sure that would be flammable, wouldn't it? You could set fire to that, perhaps. Don't know.
Maybe not as flammable.
Perhaps not as flammable. Yes, I am hungry, Romy. I am very hungry. Yes. We also need wine as well tonight. Anyway, come on.
Wine.
Right,
come on,
next question. Couple more questions to go, Louise. What is the next?
Jessica would like to know, what kind of stones do you recommend for a beginner to work with for stone setting? What types are more difficult to work with, and how do you determine?
I think the best stones are going to be, it depends on whether you're looking for cabochons or whether you're going to be looking for faceted stones. I think the best stones, the problem is if you went for faceted stones, where's my, there it is there. If you went for faceted stones, a faceted stone is obviously looking like that. And usually, if you go for something like a CZ, cubic zirconia, they're pretty much standard. They're pretty much all in the same proportion, and you can buy them pretty much all standard stock sizes. So you may be able to get, obviously, say 0.7, 0.8, 1 millimeter, 1.25, you may get 1.5, you may get 1.75. So you get the general gist of the idea. And they're pretty much the standard proportions. If then you decide to go on to things like sapphires and rubies and so forth, what you'll find is that they won't be all that same proportion, because what you may find is that to get a good colour on a ruby or a sapphire, you may find that it'll be like this. Okay, so the belly, instead of being in this sort of shape, the belly is beveled like that, so you get a greater depth of stone and you get a greater depth of colour, and that can be the same with any coloured stone. If you have a stone that is too shallow, you don't get a good depth of colour. If you have a clear-ish stone, topaz, citrine, peridot, that is a nice colour, it'll often be cut in that proportion, so there's greater mass, greater colour. The problem that you've got is that if you want to try and set those stones to start off with, really awkward. You come along with a setting burr. Your setting burrs are this shape, aren't they? Yep. Your setting burrs are that shape. That angle here does not relate to the angle of sapphires and rubies and stones that are like this. So start off with CZs, CZs, calibrated sizes. If you get them in these sizes, you get these sizes in the burrs as well. Get the burrs to the right size as the stones, and all the angles should work out exactly right for you. If you've got cabochons, it really doesn't matter what cabochons. Get something like carnelian, black onyx, something really cheap that you can work with. And again, with cabochons, you get cabochons that are quite shallow, you get some cabochons that are really deep as well, so you can experiment with different depths of bezels when it comes to those. Faceted stones, go for man-made. They are always going to be cheaper, they are always going to be better calibrated sizes for you. Okay, very quick. Can you put on there andrewberry.co.uk? Would you mind just having a look on that, please, Louise? Because and then copy the link down there. And it's, if you go onto the website, stuff that Andrew uses. Would you mind just andrewberry.co.uk? Just.
No, that's what I want. No,
it's at the bench on there.
No,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, sorry, my fault. So andrewberry.co.uk. Click enter, and then on the top. So just bear with me a second. We're just getting the link for this now. If you click the link on top now, Louise, when that comes up, stuff that Andrew uses, click on that. Great. Now, can you copy the URL and post that in the chat for me, please, darling? Thank you. Okay, so there are links to these sort of torches and so forth. Louise is just going to put in the chat. Go to that. It's andrewberry.co.uk/ stuff Andrew recommends, and there are these links to these torches available in the UK, and also I think they're available on Amazon. You can buy them in the US and also in the UK. So these sort of torches are on there. Rather than me going through them all over again, click on the link. You'll be able to go to the stuff that Andrew uses, and you should be able to see exactly what is on there. So how are we doing with our little poll, Louise?
Well, I've just reposted the link.
Okay, yep.
But at the moment, 47 people have voted. Thank you very much.
That's fine. Yep, thank you very much to the 47 of you who've decided to vote, and they want a claw. We will be doing this for a project. It won't be available on YouTube. It'll be available on At The Bench, I expect. So we will be doing a claw set in the style of Trevor, which is very kind of you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that, Trevor. So Trevor did a nice little picture from the Gem Vision box that we did of the stone, and he used Adobe Illustrator to do these fantastic drawings. Really do appreciate it. Thank you, Trevor. Canoop is bad on pasta.
I don't get the two mixed up.
Carbonara is best on pasta. So that's what we're going to be doing. Thank you for everybody who sort of joined in with the quick poll that Louise put up. Yes, Louise?
Nothing. No, Julian wanted a bezel setting.
Oh, Gillian. Oh, sorry. I'll tell you what we're going to do.
You've got two druzy quartzes now.
I have. Okay, yes. I've got two druzy quartzes. Gillian, sorry, Gillian, it'll be a bezel setting.
That was the whole point of the film, wasn't it?
I'm going to be doing two films.
I love the drawings as well, so yeah,
I do have
to do two.
I'm going to be doing two films. One is going to be Gillian's bezel setting for the druzy quartz that was given to us by Jodie from Hibiscus Days, and also I do have another druzy quartz that I bought from Kernocraft that we will be doing a claw setting in the style of Trevor's.
Great, so now you've got two druzy quartzes to me, so you're going to be busy, aren't you?
I got true, you're right, absolutely right. So there we go. Sorry, Gillian, I do apologise. Gillian, you will get your bezel set in. I do apologise. Okay, last question then, please. But do the bezel setting first. Yes, okay, Gillian.
I think that's fair, because Gillian has waited a long time for a video, hasn't she?
Right, she has, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's been very patient.
Very patient. Next question. It's going to be the last question. So everybody who's been posting questions over the last 20 minutes, half hour. Sorry we haven't got through to you, but don't forget you can always come on. You can always come on next week and get in nice and early to answer your questions. Anyway, last question then, please, Louise.
Okay. What kind of platinum solder do you use with the little butane tool?
You can't. You can't get enough heat from these little torches to melt the solder when it comes to platinum. Platinum solder, I think we've got the 1700 grade. I think that melts at 1700 degrees. It is just far too hot a heat for these little torches. You cannot do anything with platinum with these torches. They are butane. Butane is a very, very... When I say it's a low heat, it's a heat that will obviously burn you and melt metal. But if you use propane, it burns at a higher temperature. But to do anything to do with platinum or anything like that, welding platinum or platinum solder, you do need oxygen and propane for the heat. These torches won't cut it, unfortunately. Let's have one more. Go on, one more question. Go on.
Iodanis. I would like to solder a 9 karat gold 3mm outside dimension jump ring with a gold nugget around 7 by 5 by 2mm. What type of solder should I use?
If it is going to be the only solder joint that you've got, I would use something like a hard solder. Don't forget, if you've got a large mass, if you've got a what we saw a 3mm outside.
7mm by 3mm outside dimension.
Yeah.
jump ring with a gold nugget around 7mm by 5 by 2.
Okay, so this mass is 3mm, so 7mm is going to be huge, isn't it, really? So argument's sake, say I'm just going to draw that. That's not quite a nugget and maybe the wrong way round. But you can see the dimensions. This little guy here is really, really small, very, very thin. This nugget here is really, really big. This is going to take far more heat than this little chap. If you put the flame equally in like this and you want to solder, here's your flame by here, and you want to solder this jump ring onto that, and you bring your flame by here expecting the solder to melt, this little ring by here will melt straight away because this guy, this area here is sucking up all the heat. For the solder to flow, the solder will only flow when the metal is the correct temperature. Put your flame on here, the solder will melt instantly. Also that jump ring won't melt instantly. But what you have to do is make sure that this metal is up to the right temperature before you ever bring the jump ring towards it. So if this is up to temperature of the melting point of the solder, and this is, well then the solder will melt evenly between the two. If the jump ring is hotter than this, the solder will melt on the jump ring. So divert your flame onto this first. So here's your torch now over here. Heat this up. Make sure this ingot, nugget, whatever, is up to temperature first. Then bring the jump ring into place with perhaps a little bit of solder. You may have sweat soldered it on initially. So you've got the jump ring here, and say the jump ring's join is by here. Sweat solder, a bit of solder on that area first by there. Then bring that jump ring in, and as soon as that little thin jump ring touches this big nugget, the heat from the nugget will be transferred onto and into that little jump ring, and as soon as then that solder hits that surface, the solder will melt. Because it's not necessarily the flame that makes the solder flow on the surface, it's the metal itself that makes the solder flow. The metal will expand. When it's expanded the correct way, the correct temperature, the solder will melt and the solder will go and attach itself inside the molecules of the metal. And that's the way the solder works. Sorry, are we boring you with...
What?
You're rolling your head off there.
It's not.
All right, so there we go. So I think that's about it for the hour. We've overrun a little bit, but thank you everybody who has come on today. Really, really do appreciate it. Oh, Bess, Trevor, I thought... No, I will do too. I will do too. Okay, so everybody, Dapper Dan, I can't answer your question. Everybody who we've been unable to do your questions, please come on a little bit earlier next week and ask your questions, and we'll certainly get around to you. So I do apologize, we can't get around to everybody's questions. There's just far too many questions today. So thank you all very, very much. Anything you want to say, Louise? Anything you want to finish up on? Or anything?
I've written that you're going to make 2 videos in my diary.
I will, yes, I will. Which is going to be a claw set druzy and a bezel set druzy.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you want to talk about the courses and the focus group, or did you want to leave that?
We'll leave that a little bit, but I think we can mention it, can't we? Do you want to talk about it?
Well, I'm not really sure
what we're doing yet.
What you want to say, but we're thinking of releasing some places for the course.
Yes.
The beginner's course. The beginning is basically we're bench essentials.
Yes.
So we're looking for a focus group basically of around 5 people who will take the course free of charge and give us some feedback and help us, like a beta version really.
Absolutely.
So you get the full experience, but help us potentially iron. Hopefully there won't be any, but that's the idea behind it. So if anybody are absolute beginners or know anybody who's a complete beginner and wants a place to start,
just get in touch.
Yes.
And so that is basically
we're not quite sure
the idea.
how we're going to, whether it's going to be a random selection. We haven't thought that far ahead, but that's
Absolutely.
That's the idea, basically.
Yeah. So basically, we got the courses all in our head, all laid out on paper. We need to produce them. We're not just simply going to give you and just say, there we go, just get on with it. There's the videos, there's the handouts, get on with it. You're on your own, so forth. It's going to be totally interactive. And because it is not just a simple matter of saying, well, I'll take your money, there's the videos. It's not as simple as that. There's a lot of thought gone into this. Louise and I had a business meeting on the weekend. We sat on the beach.
We did have a proper meeting. We made notes and everything.
Yeah, we did go down to the beach. We did take a picnic. We sat on the beach and we made notes and we talked about...
It got a bit heated at one point, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more involved. And what we want to do is to make sure that we get these courses right, because they're not going to be very, very cheap where we take your money and give the course. It's a lot more involved than that, and there's lots of things to think about and lots of technology that we're trying to incorporate to make the experience of learning an absolutely fantastic one and quite an interactive one as well. So to make sure we get all this right, we are looking for, as Louise said, a little bit of a focus group where we're going to have 5 people who are going to be able to do the course completely free of charge, isn't it?
Well, all we ask in return is your feedback, really, because what we want is for it to be a quality learning experience, quality interactive learning experience with feedback, and, you know, otherwise what's the point of doing it?
Yes, because we don't want to take on 20, 30, 40 people and then realise there's things that is wrong or we could have done things better.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we get this right,
absolutely right
from the word go, and then those 5 people that will be able to give us some feedback, that then they can have the course, they can have all the handouts and everything, and then when we start the course properly, once we've got all your feedback and we've adjusted the course accordingly, if we need to do that, well then you can still have the course and you can carry on then with everybody else and you'll have that completely free of charge. So how does that sound? That sounds it sounds really exciting. It's not something that I know that this has not been done before. The style of teaching that we're doing has not been done before. The technology we have actually put into place has not been done before. It's not going to be a simple matter of sending us the pieces or emailing us pictures like that. It is completely different. It does sound fab. It's still in production at the moment. So as soon as we sort of get the videos and so forth, we'll get some little teasers out there. We'll have some idea of prices and length. When we get more information, we'll pass it all on to you, basically.
I think it's still in the planning. Well, it's not even in the planning stage, it's coming into the doing stage, isn't it? But what we need to make sure is that we need to gauge how many students we can accept at a time, and the focus group will help us do that, basically.
Yes.
Because there's no point in saying, yes, we'll accept X amount, and then...
Fine, we can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just me and you, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
because we want to make sure that we give everybody who comes on a unique learning experience. So again, I'm not interested in making the course cheap and get hundreds of people. I'm not interested in doing that, because that is not a really interactive learning experience for you guys. There is going to be a limited number of people that then you'll have complete access to myself and Louise over a period of time. And we're not going to rush through it. You're going to take your time through it. And we're only going to have so many students every 3 months we're going to be looking at. So it's going to be...
But to make that happen, we have to limit the numbers.
Yeah, we have to.
Otherwise,
we can't have hundreds of people and realise we just don't have time to respond to everybody, because it's not a quick fix. We're not expecting you to make jewellery within a month. It's nothing like that at all. It is something that we are looking at this. All the projects and everything that we've got planned regarding the filming is all sorted. That's no trouble at all. But it's the technology involved in getting that course to you in a way that it's fun, that's exciting, that we can gauge the level of expertise that you're gaining and that sort of thing.
And above all, flexible, because everybody's got busy lives and you can't commit necessarily to, say, I don't know, 3 hours a week. Everybody's commitment levels are going to be different, so it has to be flexible to fit in with what everybody else is doing, really.
Yes.
And that's going to be a main focus as well.
Yes, absolutely. So what's the best way then? Can people email you, Louise, just to say, well, are we interested? And just give us a
I'm
quick...
not really sure we haven't thought this far ahead of mentioning it now. I've just gone, how are we going to find our focus group? So that's something probably... I'll write it in my diary and we can work on that this week.
Write it in now,
on
okay.
whether it's going to be, I don't know, an application form or a random or I'm not sure. We'd have to have a think about this.
Yes, so if you're interested in the courses, not the focus group, but the courses in general, go to jewellery.academy or go to atthebenchcourses.com. Register your interest. We will then email you when we have a bit more of a definite price and so forth when it comes to that. If you're interested in becoming just our little focus group, we're only going to be having about 5 people, but you do have to be really, really beginners. And I know perhaps you may be watching this and you may be able to, you can sew and you can pierce. Do appreciate that, but you really should try and be right beginners, really beginner, or you know anybody who's interested in learning to make jewellery that would love to help us. We will certainly then next week, we will have perhaps a little form you can fill out your name, email address and your background and what you hope to achieve and so forth. And perhaps we'll do another form because you love a Google form, don't you, Louise?
I do, yeah. I can't deny it.
Love a Google form. Love a Google form. So in the meantime, if you are interested, go to jewellery.academy or atthebenchcourses.com just to register your interest for when that goes live. And when we expect that to go live, around about September time, isn't it?
We were hoping to.
Yeah,
but
September.
We've got to keep it realistic. How long have we waited for the Druzy video?
Anyway, enough of the Druzy. Let me have a quick look. Lynn, I'd love to be in, but not an absolute beginner though. But yeah, I'd love to do an intermediate course. India and Albert, yes, we are doing an intermediate courses as well. That is something that we're going to be carrying on with. That will follow on, absolutely. Joe, initially, it'll only be aimed at novices, brand new people. But we then will be doing an intermediate course, which can be a follow-on from the basic essentials, bench skills, or you can come on at the intermediate and go forward. So initially, we're just doing the beginners. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
Yeah, I just think as well, if you do have experience, I'm not sure what you gain from the essential skills course.
Yeah.
So
just basic beginners, and then once we've cut our teeth on the beginners, then when the intermediate course comes around, we know exactly what we're doing, and we can roll that out far quicker than what we are doing with the beginners, because we want to get this right from the word go.
Yes,
absolutely. I think it's wine time.
I think you're right.
I think it's back to the summer house and wine. One other quick question that I want to ask you guys. We want again, next week we'll have some forms for you to fill in, some more Google forms, okay? We want some ideas. We're very good here at making and doing and techniques and projects and all these sort of things, but we want your questions on things like social media, advertising, how do I do a website, how can I sell on a website, and so forth. Anything to do with marketing and promotion. Think up some questions. Next week we'll have a form for you to fill out some questions, because Louise and I are going to be doing a question and answer, but solely upon marketing, social media, websites, and so forth. And the reason why I'm saying that is that we won't be necessarily having a chat where we're going to be asking questions. We're going to have all the questions beforehand, because we're going to be doing it from our summer house, aren't we?
Are we?
We are. Yes, because there's not much point being here in front of a bench when we're just talking about marketing and so forth. So I thought it'd be an ideal opportunity to do it from the summer house, to do a question and answer about marketing, branding and promotion from the summer house. I think that'd be really good.
Yes.
So next week there'll be 2 forms, one to fill out regarding the courses, the beginners, focus group, and the other will be all about questions that you want to ask Louise and myself, all about making a note in her diary. Okay. Frantically making notes. Bring your own wine. We will be. And perhaps that... Yes. We will. Thank you, Romy. You want to, Louise?
I'm fine, yeah. Just making a note.
Just making a note. Right, everybody, thank you so much for coming on today. Really do appreciate it. Sorry we've been on talking for like the last 2 hours, perhaps we've been on.
Wow,
yeah, 2 hours. So thank you all very much for coming on today. Really do appreciate it. don't forget, join us next week. It'll be the last time it'll be on a Wednesday at 3:30 because beginning of August we are changing to a Monday at 4 o'clock. So put that in your diary from the 3rd of August, Monday, 4 p.m. Louise, yes, Joe, yes, Louise has been working with us here for 1 day a week for the last 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks. And from beginning of August, she is with us officially full time, which would be absolutely brilliant. There'll be no skiving, Andrew, will there? It'll be she'll be cracking the whip on me, she will. I do sky from time to time. Right, everybody. Steve, do appreciate it. Steve, I will talk about you next week once I've got everything sorted out. Steve Satao, thank you very much. Hope you're feeling a lot better. I think you had a double, triple heart bypass operation. I think it was. Yeah, absolutely. Hell of a guy. Thank you. Druzy Quartz videos. 2021? No! It'll be before.
No, it'll be 2022.
It'll be 2020, I promise.
I'm going to be on your case, Barry, on those videos.
Thank you all very much for joining me this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Join us again 3:30 next Wednesday, where we'll have a couple more forms for you to fill out regarding the courses and what you wanted to talk about regarding marketing, promotion and websites and so forth. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week. Louise and I are going to go now. We're going to go home, sit in the summer house and have a glass of wine. Anything you want to say, Louise? Anything coming in that you want to have a chat about?
Thank you all for joining us and making it super fun.
Excellent, super duper. Thank you all very much. Don't forget, the question and answer will start at 3:30, but we will come on just that little bit earlier, just have a bit of a chat. Amco, thank you very much. Yeah, just have a bit of a chat beforehand before we start at exactly 3:30 on the question and answer. So thank you all very much for coming on today. We will see you all next week. We shall enjoy the wine. Have a lovely week. Everybody, take care. I got to try and do all this now. And you got to bring the slide into place.
Yes, I do. I remembered.
Everybody, take care. We will see you next week. Bye-bye for now.